This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for participating in, I believe, the 27th COVID-19 conference call. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Wayne Mitchell, and I'm the president of the Nacogdoches County Chamber of Commerce. I want to remind you that we're recording this call and that it will be posted later today on the Chamber's YouTube website. So if you want to visit or you know somebody that was unable to participate today, they can go back and view the call at the end of the day. And I also want to let you know that members of the media have been invited to participate on this call as well. I'd respectfully ask all of you to put your phones and your computers on mute until we're ready for questions. So if you wouldn't mind, please hit the mute button on your phone and your computer. Today, we're going to ask anyone on this call that has a question for our presenters to please wait until we conclude the session with them, and then we'll give you an opportunity to ask. Having said that, in recent months, the Chamber has noticed a rather large increase in requests for new resident packages. These are packages that we typically prepare for people considering moving to Nacogdoches. These requests typically are coming from people that currently live in places all over Texas and the United States. Once we realized that there was such an increase, we started having informal discussions with realtors and with builders, and it was confirmed that there's been an increased activity in their world as well. With that in mind, we thought it would be a good idea to hear from the folks on the front lines of these requests and kind of give a sense of, to give us a sense of what they're hearing, what they're experiencing. And today I'm excited about the panelists that we have on this discussion, representing the real estate and the construction world. I'm pleased to say that we have, excuse me, Mr. Ed Poole with Charles Poole Real Estate Incorporated. Ed's been a very active member of the Chamber of Commerce and serves on the board of directors as well. And we thank Ed for his willingness to participate here as well. In addition, we have Olivia Kiritsy, and she's a broker and owner of Loblolly Properties and currently serves as president of the Nacogdoches County Board of Realtors. She's a Nacogdoches native and began her career in real estate in 1999. And Olivia, welcome to the call this morning. And last, I'm pleased to welcome with us Jake Crawford, JB Crawford Construction. I took the liberty of visiting Jake's website and having an opportunity to view some of the incredible and beautiful projects and residences that he's constructed, and to give us a perspective on the building industry and what the trends are. We welcome welcome Jake Crawford to the call. It's great to have you with us today, Jake. So what I'd like to do this morning is begin with a series of questions that we'd like the panelists to respond to give us kind of a sense of what they're hearing. So we'll begin with questions that I'd like both Olivia and Ed to respond to. And the first question is, the market appears to be very active. The real estate market appears to be very active. What factors do you feel are impacting sales and listings in Nacogdoches County? Why don't we begin with you, Olivia?
Yeah, hi, good morning, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Yeah, so our real estate market is very, very active, and still very, very is an understatement of how active it is right now. A couple of things that we're seeing impacting sales and listings is, for one, the extremely low interest rates. Right now, we've seen interest rates as low as 2.25% on a fixed 30-year mortgage. So, of course, that gets people in the mood to buy. And then we also, just as a state as a whole, the state of Texas as a whole, we have about 1,000 people moving to Texas every day. We definitely had 1,000 people moving to Texas every day last year. And that has, of course, caused a need for somewhere for all those 1,000 people to live. So that's two things that we've definitely seen here impacting our market. I'm sorry, Mr. Mitchell, I think you may be on mute.
Ed, your thoughts, please?
Yeah, thank you, Wayne. It's an honor to be here with you today, and I agree with Olivia and everything that she said. Just to give you a little retrospect look at our year, January through mid-March was shaping up to be a very good year. You could tell that the market was active and buying interest and confidence was very high. And then we hit mid-March, and obviously the world stopped. So April and May was just basically non-existent. So I was really curious to know what would happen past May, whether we would stay in a shutdown position or if we would increase. June 1st fired off with an extremely busy year. We have made it through the summer, and September, our numbers are equal or better than 2007, which is probably our best year in a long time. So several things have hit that have been interesting to me. Number one, our buying confidence in not only our economy, but in their personal finances has remained strong. Didn't really see any diminish in that this summer at all. The other part is it's kind of a good thing, but interest rates, as Olivia mentioned, have been extremely low. So the ability to buy has been good. We have wonderful bankers here that do a great job with their mortgage lending. So, you know, if you have down payment and you have good credit, you can get a loan. And so it's good that we have those partners to work with as well. But the thing that I think that COVID added to us, which is kind of another interesting thing, is there has been a pretty good exodus from the urban areas. And we are seeing quite a bit of interest in our area because the people want to get out of the city. They want more of a constant, not quite so high profile, a little slower approach to life. And we fit that bill. So it's been a great year so far.
Interesting. Jake, I'm curious to find out what types of requests you're getting from folks considering new home construction.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to come on this call. It's an honor to be here and be with all you folks. Our request for the new construction is about the same as it has been. As far as the effects of COVID, you know, the new construction process, people are planning a long time before. They're planning ahead. And so before the pandemic, I would say they were ready. They had their equity built up in their old homes. They had saved their cash. They'd been in the planning stage for a while. And so we, as Mr. Poole said, we did have a small decrease in phone calls through March and just a little after, but then it started back just like it was. Just to kind of put that in perspective, we built in 2018, 21 custom homes, 2019, 26 custom homes, and 2020, we built 29 custom homes. The market is booming. The requests that we have are constant as they're asking how long the building process is, how does construction, how does the loans work, the construction interim loans work, and what kind of warranty we provide. And so I would like to say that the custom homes is probably just along the same lines as it was. The market was so great before the pandemic, and then it just continued right after. I was curious to see how it would pan out, but it's panned out really well.
Thank you, Jake. Ed and Olivia, can I ask, is there adequate inventory out there to support the demand? Olivia?
No, there is not. Just again, with the number of people moving to the state of Texas in general, there is not an adequate demand. There's not an adequate demand in rental units, and there is not an adequate demand in single family residential homes. Definitely a factor that's driving up the price. The COVID situation, we were very fortunate in Nacogdoches County that our county remained open, unlike some other counties in Texas that were closed, not only, restaurants, bars, things like that, but also their realtors were unable to show properties and list properties and like that. We're fortunate here in Nacogdoches County to be able to do that and continue on business as usual. But even though we were allowed to work as realtors, many homeowners were concerned. And, there was typically the spring is our big booming time when everyone's getting ready. It's pretty outside, everything's blooming, curb appeals, just perfect. And people start listing their homes. This year, because of COVID, we didn't have as many people listing their homes as normal. So that created a lack of inventory just starting there. And I think Ed would agree that as realtors, we've kind of been having to convince our homeowners that we're interested in selling that, yes, this is a good market. It is okay to sell. We do have precautions that we're taking as realtors to show people your home, to enter your home, knowing that COVID is a valid concern. But all of those things together, we have seen a lack of inventory. And just a little fun fact for you, our August 2020 numbers compared to our August 2019 numbers. Our active listings are down in Nacogdoches County specific, 36.9%.
Ed?
Yeah, I agree with Olivia. The problem we have had this year, which has been interesting to me, is not to convince the buyer to buy, but to convince the seller to sell. Most sellers, I think, have felt like that this is not a year to sell, so therefore they just did not want to engage. They're incorrect. So consequently, the inventory was down pretty substantially. And another thing too, we have a sweet spot like most markets do, and because most of our buyers are in a certain category, and our sweet spot is 250,000 and down. And so those active listings are very busy. The upper end homes are selling, but not as such a great degree, just because you just have a limited number of buyers at that point. So when everybody talks about how active the market is, I tell them, yes, it's active, but our hot spot is 250 and down, which is fine. That's great. Like I said, the majority of our market is there. If I might sidestep a little bit, Wayne, and I'll let Jake talk about this a little bit, is that we have a crisis brewing within our community. And I've mentioned this to our economic development community and city several times. We have a painfully small number of lots that are available to be built on right now. There are, other than the subdivisions Jake has done recently, there are almost no subdivisions being planned in Nacogdoches proper and even in the county. If we have an influx of people like we're having, we don't have anywhere to put them. And so we have got to be proactive as a community to figure out where our next development's going to be and how that's going to look. And I would love for some city participation in that to try and get that going. But, in our economic development groups, we always talk about, that 300 employee high-tech company that we want to attract. I hate to tell you, they're not coming because we don't have housing for them. We could not even come close to putting 300 families in Nacogdoches right now in rental or in purchase. So we've got an impending crisis coming that we can't ignore. We've got to at least have a plan if we're not going to enact it. And so, fair warning.
Jake, you want to respond to that, please?
Yes, Mr. Poole is exactly right. We have so many people looking to this area because everyone is trying to get out of the cities, and they're migrating this way towards East Texas, not just Nacogdoches County. I think we've got probably 26 lots about to go on the market soon if we get approved, but that's not a drop in the bucket to what we would need to bring in some good companies that would supply a lot of jobs. So he's right on point. And the problem is that the builders cannot get any cooperation from the counties or the city to help us. For instance, taking roads on. they don't even want to take a road. The county can't take a road. And so it really limits us because it costs too much to create a subdivision.
Great, thank you all for that response. Let me just, when we start with you, Jake, again, and I'd like you all to respond to this question, how is this impacting the prices of homes? Jake?
Are you talking about the pandemic, I assume, Mr. Mitchell?
In the market, the way the market is so energized right now, how would you say it's impacting the pricing?
Well, going back to what Olivia said, the supply of homes is down and the demand is up. Some people would argue that the pandemic has created the rise in lumber cost. I kind of did process some numbers in March on a 2,111 square foot home. In March, the framing, joists, rafters, and decking cost an average of $17,400. Now in October, we're at $29,580. That's $12,176 a rise. Some are asking if it's the pandemic, and I'm just not convinced it is. I think it's just the supply and demand in new construction homes.
Great. Ed, what about existing real estate? What's it doing to the pricing?
Well, it's a 2-point deal. What Jake is dealing with in new home construction is actually escalating used home construction prices, because as his costs are going up, the value of an existing home is going up. The shortage of inventory has caused that same problem. Just to give you an idea, a home, say in the northeast section of Nacogdoches that was built in the 80s in really good shape, probably would have sold around $85 or $90 a square foot last year. It's pushing $100 and more right now per square foot. And I see that continuing as inventory goes down or inventory diminishes.
Olivia?
Yeah, I would agree with both Jake and Ed. And one thing that I would like to point in there, anytime I do a real estate talk, I always like to mention, you know, you never want to discount the effects that natural disasters have on the cost of building supplies. Whenever we had Hurricane Harvey, for instance, all of our contractors, all of our supplies in the state of Texas pretty much went straight to Houston. And we're still recovering as a state to have inventory for new builds. So what's going on with Louisiana, everything like that, you know, they need that lumber and they need those building materials and they need them now. You know, we need them now because we need somewhere for people to build new homes for people to live in, but they need them now to rebuild their existing homes. So that always plays an important part, and it always comes around this weird time of year, which for the real estate industry, traditionally, this is whenever we begin our transition from a seller to a buyer market. We haven't seen that in the past couple of years. We've just kind of stayed in this seller's market, and we get maybe a little dip for 3 weeks out of the year that's a buyer's market. But this time of year, just with natural disasters, you will see something happen with the inventory of materials. 10 years ago, as far as home values go, our median price in Nacogdoches County was about $125,000 to $130,000. That's what's sold. Right now, and compared to last year, our median price is $176,000, or it was at the end of August 2020, right? Which was up 10.3% from last year. Traditionally in Nacogdoches County, we'd see an increase that kind of follows the natural rate of inflation, maybe around your 3% point. But these last 2 years have been substantial increase. So we're looking at a median price of $176,000. And just to kind of put that in perspective, I want to remind you that the average household income for our county is about $41,000, right? So $176,000 home, $41,000 a year income. Those numbers don't line up really, so there's something going on there.
Wayne, there's a little bit of anomaly too, just if I can add to that. Since we're in the piney woods and marketable timber is a big part of our economy. Jake is right. We've got a substantial increase in dimensional lumber for construction purposes, but standing timber is not going up. So there's a little bit of a disparity there, which is very interesting to me. It's gone up a little, but not anywhere to the degree of milled timber. So it's something to watch because, we're closely tied to the timber industry here in East Texas, and it's not being impacted by current prices.
That's interesting. I wonder why that is, Ed.
I have no idea. I've questioned that. I've asked foresters. I've asked a lot of different people. I mean, demand is a part of it, but it would be interesting to see if wholesale prices have increased as much as retail prices have. But I had a very small project the other day that required some 20-foot 2x6s treated, and I had to wait for deliveries to come in to get those things. And so in any other day, you could just go and pick however many you wanted all over town. Not that way now.
That's interesting. Let me ask, Jake, do you have a question?
No, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me just ask this question of all of you. The types of requests that you're getting for existing properties or new home construction, are they younger folks, retired folks? Is there one category that's larger than another? Jake, why don't we start with you?
It's pretty even for me. I did some numbers. I crunched some numbers. 27% of our calls or new construction builds are from retirees. I don't know if that could vary with the type of construction we do or what, but, and then 33%, I'll just throw this in there, are from out of town, from the cities. So that's the numbers that I came up with from our company.
That's great. Olivia?
We're seeing it's pretty much everyone. Everyone that has the ability to buy is buying. Again, with the low interest rates, people have more purchasing power than they ever did before, and good for them because the median cost is going up, so they need to. But yeah, we're new homeowners, retired, people are moving around, upgrading, right sizing. We have retirees. I would say that there's a little bit of everyone. They're all buying, and definitely people who have a significant amount of equity in their home now that the values are going up. Those people are making the choice to upgrade or right size or transition into a new home.
Thank you. Let me ask Ed, same?
I would just say yes. But all categories, it's fantastic. We're not growing in one sector only.
Okay. Let me ask this. Is the commercial real estate market as hot as the residential, Olivia?
Surprisingly, yes. I think we definitely saw a lull during the COVID time. People are a little nervous. Rental wise, yes, they're still looking. And I think, the slowdown and the shutdown really gave people who were planning on starting a new business or finding a brick or mortar location, it allowed them to just plan more and better. And the PPP loans were significant as well. I'll definitely let Ed tap into this one and defer to him.
One of the things that I gauge our activity off of, or when the regional site selectors come in representing retail prospects and office settings, since about mid-March, those have been basically non-existent. What I have seen in the last 30 days is a beginning of an upsurge in that. But as you well know, retail was impacted substantially just because people couldn't do it. Restaurants existed off of drive-throughs and carryouts. Retail existed off home delivery or whatever they could do. Everybody office from home. So commercial activity just came to a screeching halt in April, and it's slowly ticking back, but not to the degree that it was prior to that. But consequently, the last 30 days, we're beginning to see a little activity emerge. And as retail gets back to normal and people go back to their offices, I think things will improve.
Jake, are you doing much in commercial?
We do about 30% commercial and 70% residential, and just like Mr. Poole said, and Olivia, our commercial stopped. It's just now starting to go back, and so we're starting to get some calls on that. And also some of the projects that we had planned to start when the pandemic hit, they stopped them. So we're still on hold on a couple.
And Jake, this question's for you. Do you have enough skilled craftsmen available to support the demand?
Never.
Any particular?
I would hire anyone that's skilled. We currently have 25 between carpenters, cabinet builders, framers, painters are just, you can't find them. Plumbers, electricians. I think the average licensed electrician in Nacogdoches is probably over the age of 50. So we're hurting bad for skilled craftsmen.
This again is a question for all of you folks. Is there one area of the country that people are coming from that, in terms of the types of requests you're getting for real estate? Olivia?
People moving here from other areas of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen an upswing of transplants from California and Colorado. We're definitely getting a lot more calls from people in those areas. We're also selling a higher number of second homes or vacation homes or summer homes, whatever you'd like to call them. So, but yeah, Colorado and California, I think also something that we're just hearing more as people are moving here from other areas is, definitely with the internet and things going to e-commerce. We talked a lot about this in the last 2 to 3 years about how people they don't have to move somewhere for their job. They can live wherever they want and then work wherever they want. And I think that's brought a lot of people to rural areas like Nacogdoches County. But we're seeing that even more with the whole COVID, because people were kind of forced into this e-networking job, bankers, underwriters, processors, it's trying to use things from my industry. But in general, a lot of people can just, so they can go wherever they want to go and be wherever they want to be. And thankfully, people choose Nacogdoches.
Thank you, Olivia. Ed?
Same thing. The majority of people moving here we see come from the urban areas of Texas, and that would be normal. California, Colorado, yes. It seems to be California more so. People are inquiring quite a bit. Oddly enough, I've had several of my listings that clients came in from California, flew in specifically to look at houses with their agent. And so I don't know that in my history I've seen that. But, they didn't come to visit the area. They came to look at a house. And I thought that was very unusual.
Oh, and may I add in there, we've also seen an increase, which is an unusual thing for our East Texas market, that we have a lot of people purchasing homes sight unseen. And I'm sure Ed can agree to that. But it was rare before that we would write an offer or receive an offer from someone who had never been to a property, who's never had a realtor or a cousin or brother cousin or whoever, come check out a property. And here recently, we've been getting a lot of offers sight unseen.
Interesting. Jake?
California, and I know you didn't ask about Texas, but Austin, Dallas, and Houston it's the blunt of everyone coming here for my business. I've had one from Florida, but California, Colorado, Austin, Dallas, and Houston.
Interesting. I'm going to open it up at this point for questions from our participants on the call. Anybody that would like to ask a question of Jake, Olivia, or Ed?
Wayne, this is Rusty. If you can hear me, is it Olivia? A question to all of you guys: are they looking in town for like a subdivision type home, or people that are moving out or moving from California want to be in the rural area, meaning outside the city limits with some acreage? What are you seeing?
So we're seeing a little bit of both, really. The people that want land, and the people that want to be in a subdivision want to be in a subdivision. And then you have those people that want a little bit of everything in between. They want a little bit of land, a little bit of subdivision. I think Jake's definitely experiencing that, watching just what he's dealing with. I want a subdivision, but I want 1.5 acres in my subdivision. I feel like that may be the trend for our area. You know, they think if I'm going to be in East Texas, I'm going to be in the piney woods. I'd like to have bigger than a 1/4 acre lot. So we've seen, I would say that's the trend.
Yeah, I agree with Olivia on that as well, but it's been interesting too. Those that come from the extreme urban areas, they talk about buying a house and some land, but it scares them to death. They've never been in that situation before. And honestly, compared to other areas, our pricing is pretty good. So, you know, coming from California, we look like a gold mine here.
Jake?
It's all across the board, as they said. It's funny that some people come from the city and or from California and they're wanting to have a 1/2 acre lot. If I were to pick one way or the other, I would say 1.5 to 3 acre lots is what I'm hearing.
Thanks for that question, Rusty. Any other questions? Well, if not, first of all, any final comments from Olivia or Ed or Jake? Olivia?
Well,
Yeah.
one thing I'd like to point out is, and I didn't say this, is that I think we owe a debt of gratitude to our leadership, our Governor Abbott, for making us essential. And if he hadn't, I think we would probably be having a different conversation right now about Nacogdoches County, just as a local county. So we're very thankful for our leadership and the decisions that they made.
Well, that's great. And Jake, you'll be pleased to know that Betty Rousseau is on this call, and she's the governor's representative. I suspect she'll share that with the governor. So there you go. So Ed, any comments?
Just one bit of warning, and I've said this in groups before, but you know, as we grow and as we become a larger, vibrant community, we need to be careful because we have a very unique, positive identity that is only Nacogdoches. And when communities begin to grow and take on more things, they begin to lose their identity. And we just need to be guarded in the fact that the things that make us Nacogdoches, we hold dear and dear to us, and we don't let them go.
Thank you. Olivia?
I would agree with what Jake says. Very thankful to be in Texas and our governor deciding that we were essential, especially as realtors, and especially to our county leadership as well, that there was a decision that they made and that benefited us. And so we're thankful for that. Our inventory, again, it's low, it's selling quick. That's what's happening in the real estate market. And we don't really see that changing anytime soon.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to thank our panelists. I found this discussion absolutely fascinating. You helped certainly educate Wayne, and I suspect a few others on this call as well. I can't thank you enough for your willingness to be a part of this dialogue here today. And I look forward to working with you in the future to hopefully address some of the concerns that you've raised about future development. But thank you all three, Ed, Jake, and Olivia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
We're going to continue with the call, and you all are welcome to stay on the call. I don't know if Dr. Gordon has joined us. I didn't see him up, but Dr. Gordon, are you with us, sir? Larissa, are you with us this morning? Well, I did see Betty Rousseau representing the Office of the Governor. Good morning, Betty.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I have a few announcements today. I want to remind you about the appointments to the governor's office committees and boards. If you're interested, let me know. It's real easy. Just fill out a form and you can see what committees and boards are out there. We need more East Texas representation. So let me know if you're interested in knowing how to look that up. Excuse me. Governor Abbott issued a statement of support for Senator John Cornyn's Eliminate the Digital Divide Act broadband legislation. It was in support of Cornyn's Eliminate the Digital Divide Act, and this legislation would expand broadband access across the country by sending federal dollars to the states for the purpose of developing programs that fund broadband projects in underserved areas. Another announcement, Governor Abbott and the Texas Health and Human Services Commission today announced $3.5 million in federal funding for nursing facilities to purchase plexiglass barriers and tents to allow for safe visitation during the COVID-19 pandemic. Nursing facilities may apply for this funding through HHSC beginning October 5th, so as of yesterday. And there's a new webinar through our small business group. It's Business Strategies for an Evolving Future, focusing on dynamic financial planning. It will take place tomorrow from 1 to 2, and if anyone's interested, I can send the link either through chat or to Kelly to send out. Just let me know. And that's it for my report, and I appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much, Betty. And I believe the governor also has a webinar that the chamber is supporting coming right up that Kelly sent out a bulletin yesterday or will be going out shortly on. So please watch your emails for that as well. Those webinars are outstanding. Representing the social services folks, I know he's on the phone, on the call today. Would you welcome the president of the Nacogdoches Area United Way, Gary Lee Ashcraft. Good morning, Gary Lee. Gary Lee.
Good morning.
There you go.
I was multitasking, folks. Sorry. I'm going to talk campaign, if you don't mind. We're about halfway through the campaign. Our goal was $300,000. It's a new thing. It's a virtual campaign. I would encourage you all, if you don't know what that is, to go to our website, which I'll send over to you, Wayne. It's easy. It's unitedwaynac.com. Who's interrupting me? Get off the phone. Is that my wife, Charlotte? Got them? Out there? Good.
You're here. You're here.
Okay. I want to, in that website, which is unitedwaynac.com, you just simply go to join now, hit that, and you can find out all about our virtual campaign. I direct you to look at a couple of the videos we have up there now, especially our wonderful campaign chair, past chair, Dustin Beavers. He'll bring tears to your eyes. We do need the money. That's why I'm harping on this. So that's my ask for that. We have 23 active campaigns right now. Where they are, I have no idea. I'm waiting for Caroline Garner to return from a little getaway. We need 10 more campaigns, which we're working on to get anywhere close to the $300,000 goal that we feel like we will. Oh, by the way, in the videos, be sure to look at Kyle Keller. He needs to shave, but he is awesome, talking about United Way and those kind of things. If you don't know, there's a car involved, donated by Rex Perry. He's done that with us for 7 years. So love on Rex Perry, please. We call that car Mini Pearl because it's pearl white. It's an adult car. I don't have to get in butt first. I can just slide right on in, and it will top out at 140. You can ask a particular officer that pull me over. So the car right now is at Bancorp South. It'll be headed to the campus for you campus folks pretty soon, as soon as I remember when. And it is moving around. It's a cool car. Y'all will love this thing. You want to win it. How to win it? You can donate what we call our fair share, which is only an hour of pay per month, or you can pay $7 a week. That our fair share is one shot, or you can pay $7 a week for it, and that's about 200 and some odd dollars, and that'll get you 2 shots, and that's all the shots you get. Kind of sounds like a casino, doesn't it? But that's what it is, and we will give that car away sometime in November. So with that, I'll go away, except to say, Jake, Chris Gilbert said to kind of mess with you, but you're doing so well, I didn't want to do that. I'm glad to meet you. I've heard a lot about you. So that's that. Any questions of me, I'm glad to answer them. You can call my cell anytime, everybody does, or send me a text. And I won't give you that number because I can't remember it right now. But anyway, y'all have a good day and live united.
Thank you very much, Gary Lee. We appreciate that update. I see Sherry Morgan. Can I put you on the spot for a report for the hospitality industry? Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning, everybody. Sure. We had an outstanding August in hotel occupancy tax. We were still down from 2019, but only down by 6%, whereas in July we were down 32% from where we were pre-COVID. We don't have our numbers yet for September. From what we can tell, just anecdotally, it's going to be strong, not as strong as August, but not as low as we saw in June and July. And October 1 marked the beginning of our new fiscal year. So we are just looking at different ways to bring people in, and in light of today's conversation, convert as many of those stays as we can to residents. We get a lot of retirees that come in for a visit and, wind up choosing to retire here and move here. And that's something I think in this last year alone, and even with COVID, we've had no fewer than 5 people approach Mike Bay at the front desk to say, do you remember me? We were here in 2019 and we moved to Nacogdoches because of you. So it's getting people here, and probably the biggest thing that I want to echo is Ed's statement about maintaining our identity. That's something that's really near and dear to my heart as somebody that promotes Nacogdoches to the outside. We never want to dilute who we are. We need to hold tight to that. And I come from Conroe, so when I grew up in Conroe, it was the same size and same feel as Nacogdoches is today. And then today, Conroe is pushing up against 100,000 people, and they've lost their identity. And they want to be a Houston, and they're not. So I just think that really struck me when Ed said that, because that is something that we want to keep in our sights. We've got a drive-in movie in conjunction with National Big Read this weekend out at the airport. It is sold out. This is a free event. 125 cars will be parked out at the R.L. Mangum Airport to watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? If this event goes well, then we hope to bring back as a fundraiser some more drive-in movies for as long as daylight savings allows us to do so. Our visitor numbers are strong. We saw like 24 people here yesterday on a Monday. That's a great thing for us, and weekends downtown are hopping. So it looks like, fingers crossed, knock on wood, we are starting to see some leisure travel recovery in Nacogdoches.
Thank you, Sherry. We appreciate that update, and it's so great to see the hotels with more cars in the parking lots and the restaurants with more cars, and let's hope that trend continues upward. So representing the NISD, the Nacogdoches Independent School District, we're pleased to have here on the call Les Linebarger. Good morning, Les.
Good morning, Wayne, and thanks for having me. At NISD, at all grade levels, Students whose parents want in-person instruction are now attending daily. A little more than half of our students are receiving face-to-face instruction as we continue to proceed through this school year like no other. Also, on Friday night, we're hoping to have just a bit of normalcy return when Nacogdoches High School holds its home opener football game at Dragon Stadium at 7:30 p.m. against Tyler High School. And that's the school formerly known as John Tyler. First and foremost, we want you to know we want to keep everyone safe. Players, students, staff, and fans. And currently, as is the rule across the state, our stadium is limited to 50% capacity, which is going to be roughly about 2,700 people in the stands if we happen to have a full house. Tickets are on sale electronically only, and later today a link will be shared on our website and on our social media accounts, so keep an eye out for that. And basically how this is going to work each week as we go through the season for a home game, that on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, season ticket holders, parents of performers, which that includes players, band, drill, and cheer, and etc., and NHS seniors can buy tickets, and there are no reserved seats. On Thursday and until noon on Friday, NHS underclassmen, as well as the general public, can buy tickets. And tickets for Friday's game are $5, and as I said, will be purchased only online. There will be no tickets available at the gate, and everyone entering Dragon Stadium on Friday night must have a ticket. Now, this week's game is it costs $5. In 2 weeks, when NHS hosts White House for the District 9 5A opener, the district that District 9 5A set a policy that tickets for those games will cost $6. So on Friday night, as if everything runs smoothly the rest of the week, we're going to see the Dragons back out on the football field, and maybe, just a little bit of regular life can re-enter, and we can all enjoy that. And by the way, the Dragons won their season opener on their hastily scheduled season opener on Saturday over in the Fort Worth area when they beat Boswell High School out of Saginaw 26-21. Wayne, that's all I've got right now.
Thank you, Les. We appreciate that. I see Representative Clardy has joined us this morning. Representative Clardy?
Good morning, Wayne, and everybody. And congratulations on a great program this morning. Really did enjoy that with Jake and Olivia and Ed. That was really good information. So thank y'all for putting that together. It's a wonderful, beautiful day in East Texas. It's hard to believe it was a week ago. We were about to watch probably the strangest political debate we've ever seen. And that seems like about a lifetime ago now. So since that time, what's happened? Well, we've had a president get the COVID. We've had his wife get the COVID. We've had him go to the hospital, come out of the hospital, and everything in between. And now here closer to home, we've got another little political scandal, controversy going on in Austin with our attorney general. So just when you think 2020 can't get any stranger, it does. So let's see what happens, what's on the horizon. If you didn't register to vote, it's too late. You missed the window yesterday. A week from today is the first day of early voting. We have 3 weeks of early voting in Texas. So be prepared to get out there and do your duty. And that will start again next Tuesday, culminating to 3 weeks later, 4 weeks from today, will be election day, November 3rd. And so this will be a very momentous election for all the reasons we all know and have discussed. And then in my world, the Texas legislature, that session will begin January 12th. We're still coming up with what that's going to look like and how we're going to accommodate guests and visitors and committee meetings, et cetera, how we're going to conduct business on the floor during the pandemic. But those rules will come together and we will start on time. And it's going to be an important session. So there'll be more on that later. But it's, I really appreciate the spirit of today's conversation and couldn't agree more with Sherry Morgan and what Ed said about Nacogdoches being a unique place. I'm about to go across the river and visit with our chamber friends in Cherokee County and Jacksonville. They've had an event there Judy and I are going to head to. But this is a unique place. It's as I like to say, Nacogdoches is a town of character and characters. And let's let's don't lose that about us. And so, but it's a really exciting time. I'm as crazy as this year's been. I think we're on just the cusp of great things happening in Nacogdoches. We're going to build on our heritage and our traditions and our history. The best days are ahead. So after 2020, there's nowhere to go but up. So anyway, I hope everybody's well and safe. Last thing I'll say is Friday, I may be on the road, but I'm going to do my best to get somewhere where I have decent signal and do our Facebook Live from Travis for Texas, our little 30-minute segment, kind of a Friday afternoon chat at 3 o'clock. I want to invite all of you to join. If you can find the time, we'd love to have your questions and comments and join us there. So anyway, Wayne, that's all the news I got. And again, great show today. Appreciate the effort.
Thank you, Representative Clarney. We appreciate you joining us here today. I don't know if Dr. Mahaffey was able to join us or not. Amy, are you on by chance? Larissa? Well, we did have a bit of an uptick this weekend. I will tell you, I get the reports on a daily basis from the city. We did have a bit of an uptake this weekend, but we'll be publishing that information on the chamber website a little later. Any other comments from anybody on the call? Well, again, I'd just like to remind you that Eggs and Issues this Thursday, which is the day after tomorrow, at the Fredonia will feature a presentation by our city manager, Mario Canizares, and hopefully you'll be able to join us. If you can't make it in person, we will be broadcasting it online. And so please go to the chamber website for the call-in information on that. We do want to let you know that the golf tournament is right around the corner. It'll be a week from Friday. We still have room to accommodate a few more teams between now and the end of the week. So please consider that as well. And last, I want to thank again Jake, Olivia, and Ed for an unbelievable presentation today. I learned an enormous amount, and I think if you look at the chat section here, their callers did as well. I can't thank you enough for the contribution, and trust me, I'll abuse you again in the future to do something similar. So thanks again to all three of you. With that in mind, we will conclude this call. Thank you very much, folks, and have a wonderful week.